Thanks for coming. I'm Ryan from DAIN. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we're doing here, what we're building, and then hopefully at the end we can get a fun little live demo that I think you guys will all enjoy. So let's get started. Let me get my clicker. Let me do it this way. Oh, there we go. Okay, first, I wanted to talk about how we think of AI agents at DAIN. So the first thing that we think of is we have two different types of AI agents. We have a third type, but I'm not really going to talk about it in this presentation. The first two types are personal agents here. Personal agents you can think of like your personal assistant, right? So it's a consumer agent as we think about it, something that can know really about you, know what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, and help you with your goals, right? A lot of people think of these as also kind of co-pilots too, where you have a level where you're pair doing something with an agent. And then from the second angle, we have service agents. So service agents we think of as a business. So we think of, consumers have AI and personal assistants. Businesses are also going to have AIs and assistants for them. So a service agent you can think of as a representative of that business. It's like if you called a business, someone picked up the phone, that would be who you were talking to, right? And on our network, we think of that as a kind of new style of app that's going to start evolving as AI becomes more and more common in real life. So let's talk about how existing agents interact. This is all very new, so a little bit still, some of it far from happening. But we can make it actually happen today, and you'll start to see these two types a lot, really, really common in the next kind of probably few months. The first type is via web browser. So basically allowing an agent to have control over your web browser, click through links, act as a human would on an existing web page. That's the first type of agent, right? There's some issues with that I'll talk about in a second. And the second type is one that integrates with an API. So one that can basically, just call tools recursively or something. If it needs to, say, for example, buy a stock, it calls a stock API and does that. If it needs to display the price of a crypto, it calls a crypto API, displays the price there. So those are the two kind of types of agents that currently exist that are most common. They have a lot of inefficiencies. With a web browser, you have to click links. You have to load a web page that's made for humans, not for an AI. You have to manage sessions, and you have to manage payment information that doesn't really make sense, right? You have to hold the user's credit card, maybe type it in the field, all that type of stuff. And you also have to deal with anti-bots that are getting implemented on every single website that exists right now. And then when you have an API, you have very similar to a web browser, except you have to create new integrations for every single service that you interact with. So if I, for example, wanted to interact with a crypto API, I'd have to write an integration for that crypto API, interact with it. Now my agent could interact with it. It's not very hard, and especially with AI coding, it's a lot easier, right? But it's still something you have to do if you want to interact with any type of service, right? Maybe you have to make a partnership. It's kind of advanced. So we've seen, though, now that businesses are adopting agents on their end as well. Most businesses have some type of consumer customer support agent that they're having on their website. So, for example, if you go to a shopping store, you might see that they have a little support bot. It's now the humans are being replaced by an AI, maybe a better AI than they were before. Everyone's kind of adopting these. All the large companies are as well. So they have now, basically a business representative that talks on their behalf, that can probably execute a support ticket, maybe refund your purchase, something like that, all automated. So these already exist, right? But here's the problem. You have two kind of agents. They're both basically, one run by a business and another run by, a consumer, and they have no real way to interact and talk with each other that's seamless, right? The way you'd kind of think about maybe potentially this happening right now is an agent opening up a web browser, clicking in the customer support chat, and talking back and forth with the other agent. That doesn't make sense at all, right? So they both have streamlined kind of, ways to talk. They don't have a streamlined way to talk. And so we're going to solve that, right? They have a basically unique way of talking to each other, which is language. And like I said before, integrating with existing web services or existing, businesses is very hard because everything is not interoperable with each other. In blockchain, we love the word interoperability and composability and all that stuff. In real life, it doesn't exist. You have a bunch of different fragmented softwares, APIs, everything you need to write and integrate with every little thing. But language is kind of universal. So language can be used anywhere. I can talk to this, a banker the same way I can talk to a guy who sells me food, the same way I can talk to just about anyone, and I can convey messages and data through language really easily. So here's our vision. We're going to use language to connect every service on the internet and every service in the world. Since everything is automatically compatible by language, we're going to try to make that a reality and basically make both service agents for businesses and consumer agents for people to be able to interact with anything on the globe, really easily be able to pay each other. And our end goal is to create what we call the agent-to-agent economy, which is allowing agents to function as an entire economy by themselves from both the consumer perspective and the business perspective. So to do this, we're creating a network. We call it the DAIN network, and there's 3 kind of key things in this network that help us achieve our goals. The first is identity and reputation, right? So I'll talk about this, and I have a few slides after. But identity and reputation. The second is discoverability and connectivity, right? How do you discover new services and agents that you want to interact with? How do you connect with them? And then the third and most important, in my opinion, is payments. How do these specific things pay each other? So let's talk about identity and reputation first. The first thing is, if I have an agent, I have a bot on the internet right now, there's a huge problem where there's a bunch of bots going around, no one knows who is who, no one can basically verify or identify who these bots work for, where they're from. The only current real way that people are doing is they're whitelisting like a set of IP addresses. This only really works for big businesses, and it wouldn't work in the real world when you have consumers on different apps and SaaS services and everything, like with basically agents that they own, right? So let's try to figure out a way to attach an organizational identity and an agent identity together so you can track what is a bot, is it a good bot, is it a bad bot, all that type of stuff. The second that has to do with identity is personal permissioning. So if I have data or an identity or on chain, right, or I'm a user, I'm Ryan, and I want to allow agent XYZ to do stuff on my behalf, this agent to do stuff on my behalf, I can do that and verify that I trust this and this is my delegate and representative. Just as, for example, if someone worked at my company, I could give them an email address with DAIN.org. It'd be pretty valid that they worked at the company. Basically similar to that, but for a bot and autonomous agent perspective, right? And then the third is reputation building. How do you give reputation to these agents? How do you basically make them, this is a good agent, this is a bad agent, this agent is doing well on the network, collaborating, making business, doing good deals with people. How do you keep track of that? It's another good use case for blockchain. The second is discoverability and connectivity, right? So if there's all these different agencies on that, how do you discover them, right? How do you find all these different services that you as an agent can interact with? Right now, maybe you'd have to do a Google search, go through some web pages, maybe look on Twitter for something you liked to do that, and then potentially they have an integration. Blockchain, an open network, helps with discoverability, right? So anyone can publish to the network, say, hey, I'm here, I work with this protocol, please come use me, I'm compatible, right? And everything's immediately compatible together. We allow seamless communication between agents. We're enterprise focused, so we know that communicating on chain is no good. You won't get into any enterprise doing that. You won't pass the first step of the security audit. So we're going to provide a seamless way for them to verify their on-chain identity, but communicate with data in a secure manner towards each other securely and without it becoming an issue for security, right? And then the third is like universal accessibility, right? So like I said before, language becomes the interoperability layer, right? If anything is compatible via language, anything can connect together all at the same time. Now let's talk about payments. This is my favorite and I think the most important part of this. Like crypto is helping the unbanked get a bank, who else is unbanked? AI agents. They can't open up a bank account. You can't KYC. You can't do anything like that, right? So the first thing is, AI agents need somewhere to have this bank account, and it can be on chain, right? It's an initial good way to give them a bank account. The next thing is fraud will be super rampant when it comes to payments with AI agents. I can make a deep fake of any of you in this room in 20 seconds, right? If you think an AI agent in 2 years won't be able to do that like that instantly at rapid pace, like it will, right? Payment compatibility is huge. So basically, I want to be able to pay all these different things all around the world, all together. Agents need if I want to have an agent, a personal assistant, that for me can go pay this provider, and this provider, and this provider, and this provider, the payment structure needs to be compatible for all of them, right? From now, we use credit cards, which is compatible with most things. Some businesses maybe accept PayPal, some accept crypto, some accept all these other stuff. There needs to be some type of universal compatibility for payments on a network where agents operate with each other super fast, right? Where I can verify that you have that money, money right away. Instant settlement is huge. If we want AI agents to be, functioning and super fast and actually improve our way of life, we need settlement that happens like this, so they can go from one thing to the next 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 thing really, really fast, and don't have to wait. Like even a wire transfer will take 24 hours to confirm, right? Doesn't work. If you want AI agents to be functioning at millisecond speeds and improve every aspect by working fast, you need instant settlement for payments. And then the third is on-chain credit. So this is a fun one, but basically, there's been no real good consumer on-chain credit app yet on blockchain that people use, right? We think we can do that with stuff we're building. A, because we're going to bridge the gap between blockchain users and normal consumers, but B, because AI basically allows us to, do a lot of that stuff. But B, you also need like credit for AI agents, right? So if an AI agent doesn't have, an organization that it represents that has a credit history, right? It needs its own kind of way for on-chain credit. So just like we can basically, use AI, use blockchain as an infrastructure for AI payments, we can also use it as an infrastructure for AI credit, right? AIs don't have a credit system yet. They don't have a credit history, a credit score, a social security number, nothing like that. We think we can do it on blockchain, right? It's a new area that hasn't been implemented, so it's available to be implemented. We're also building a platform along with our network to allow it to basically create AI agents really, really fast. The end goal for this is to have you be able to deploy an existing service that you have on the internet. Say you have a service that provides data for stocks, or say you have a service that allows people, or restaurants, and you want to connect your, like your iPad at the front to DAIN. We want you to be able to do that in under 5 to 30 minutes is the goal. Really, really fast. So immediately make whatever your existing service compatible without rewriting it. So if you have existing API endpoints, you should be able to make that compatible without rewriting it. If you have an existing software, compatible without rewriting it in a bunch of different ways. And then for you to be able to accept payments and instantly have them go into your bank account with a stable coin, right? So another good thing for small businesses is things like that. Because of our network, they can attach onto the network, get new growth and discoverability that they never would before, right? So if, you'll see this in a second, but like they would never see before. And then basically connect and receive payments on that. We're also managing hosting and deployments. Huge, massive issue for developers these days. They don't know how to host and deploy. They can get, if you have a hackathon, they can get really, really close, but not all the way there to having an actual functioning product. We're going to make it so you can go 0 to 100 in 30 minutes. That means I go from nothing to being hosted, deployed, receiving payments, authentication's all built in through the chain, right? I can receive payments instantly because it's through the chain. I can export to my bank account because it's through the chain, right? And I can host it as a microservice, and it can be there forever. So even if I create something as simple as a rock identifier or something like that, something that would be used maybe once a year by some random person, it can auto scale down to 0, and I can get that 1 penny perhaps that I would have never earned because I would have never deployed it, right? And we're going to basically allow that to happen for anything because there's a bunch of specialized services like that can make the web super awesome if it's possible for them to be deployed. We're also doing SDKs, inference, SDKs, inference, all that, to make it really easy for developers to use. And then we're also building something we like to call the DAIN transformer, which basically transforms your existing infrastructure into a DAIN service using AI, writes all the code for you, and deploys it for you automatically. We're building that out as well. If you guys have seen before, I don't know, probably many of you not, we built a platform that allowed you to make crypto trading bots with basically just text before. So we're building some of the same infrastructure from that to build this kind of service, AI coding live on the fly, and hosting and deployments, which is also part of that platform. We're bringing it to basically the whole world and with any service possible. So a little bit bigger mission here. It'll also work with crypto trading. So, like I said before, there's supposed to be a little Face ID icon there, but it didn't export properly. But one of the things we're building, which I'll demonstrate today, is DAIN ID. So DAIN ID is our version of how we want to make crypto possible for consumers. So we want to build a platform that's actually usable. That's one of our goals. So it's infrastructure, but then also apps and platform that's usable for anyone existing on the globe, right? So DAIN ID is how we're going to do that. DAIN ID has no downloads. It has no passwords. It has no email addresses, username, nothing. You sign in with your face through passkeys. It's compatible on every device that's from 2018 onward. So probably every single iPhone iPhone, Android, Windows, everything in this room will most likely work on it, right? All little people know, but like every single one of the devices you have a hardware wallet on their phone, which functions basically exactly like a crypto wallet. It's able to sign messages and sign a challenge, right? So being that, we are able to verify it on chain and prove that you own this specific account abstracted wallet. So now consumers can sign by just going like that, and they're done. It's easier than like a normal account you'd use today. So it'd be very easy to onboard consumers to all of the platforms on it. It also has allocations and delegations and spending limits and stuff like that. So similar to signing with Google, you approve access to a specific app to use your account with specific set permissions. You can revoke their access, all that. And it makes it so you don't actually need to have pop-ups every time you like pay transactions and things, because you give them infinite access for that session. They can just use it as much as they want. So yeah, it's DAIN ID. So I have 4 minutes left here, so I'll move a little bit faster. But we also have Butterfly. So Butterfly is going to be our first example of how to build a consumer and personal agent on our network. Butterfly has a bunch of different modalities. It has voice, text, and UI is the three we're focused on. So I should be able to speak to this personal assistant and do stuff for me. I should be able to type to the assistant, but I should also be able to see and click on UIs in the same app and function with the assistant as well. So we're building out Butterfly because we feel like we have building out all this infrastructure, and we now need a way to prove it and make it viable to consumers. This is kind of what Butterfly looks like. Butterfly will be able to connect with every service on DAIN. So if you make a service on DAIN, it will instantly be appearable in Butterfly. So if I make, some random, say, rock identifier service I was talking about that get used once, if one person on Butterfly asks to identify a rock, Butterfly will route to that service, utilize it, pay it, and get the result. So it allows people to infinitely expand using a decentralized technology, basically a decentralized kind of app store, right, where everything can be interacted with in the same app, because AI interprets the information via language and can produce it to the user super, super fast. So like I said before, Butterfly has embeddable user interfaces from external services that are presented in a safe manner. So anyone can create a user interface, present it in Butterfly in a safe manner. If the app doesn't have a user interface, it can actually have AI-generated interfaces on the go. These are getting a lot better, and they're really cool, actually, because they can fill in some of the gaps. Say you use two different services that aren't compatible with each other. The AI-generated interface can be the gap where it could bridge those two pieces of data or language together. And from there, basically, you see a cool interface that you'd have never seen before. We have 3 initial service targets for this that we're going to build. We're going to build probably a lot more, but in the future, we'd like to see the community build a lot as well. So we'll be super developer focused. The 3 initial services are 1, plan your travel. So we're going to make it super easy to buy plane tickets, organize full itineraries, choose the seats, all that, right away through Butterfly app just by speaking to it, right? That's the first one. Once again, all payments are through crypto. But the user won't know that because they'll pay with credit card or whatever feels comfortable to them. But the service will receive the money in crypto. The second is ordering food. So this one was, near and dear to all of us. If I want to just order food right now, how would I order food with just my voice? How would I make it so reoccurring food orders, market orders, all that type of stuff happens super seamlessly? And then we're going to make a cool, awesome, explore section where we're going to have a lot of little microservices and stuff like that that can be usable and demonstrate the power of this network. So I have a little bit left here, but I'd like to do a live demo of ordering food for you guys here with my voice. So, and DAIN ID, because that's fun. Let me stream. Awesome, okay, so this is a little fun example that we made for an initial version of what we're making Butterfly. We can just go ahead and log in. So as you see, DAIN ID is super easy, just pops up like a sign-in with Google. All I do is click authorize, hey, give access, and I immediately passkey sign in, and I'm good to go. I can use the service, right? So I just logged in on-chain, delegated it to Butterfly, and now you see on the side here I have my chat history, my new hats, and everything like that. So now we can go ahead, let's turn this on.
Hey there, how can I help you today?
And we can talk to Butterfly. So I can talk back and forth. Hey, I want to order some Chick-fil-A, please.
Awesome choice. Could you please provide your delivery address so I can...
Yeah, my delivery address is 77 Amherst Street in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So I just speak to it with my voice.
Great news. There's a Chick-fil-A just 0.9
It just pops up
miles
like some
away
Chick-fil-A's. We're making it faster.
569
But it pops up. I can
Williston
see
Street,
here that I
Boston,
have the
with a
actual
4.6 star rating.
visualization
Ready
of the
to see the
Chick-fil-A
menu?
that it's provided. And I can go ahead and either say with my voice or, hey, let's check out the menu for the closest one, please. And it will basically go ahead, fetch the menu really quickly.
All right, here's the menu.
And I can see all the items from
spicy
Chick-fil-A and
chicken
stuff like that. So I can go ahead and I can go ahead and scroll through like the menu just as I would. Like I said, I can choose specific stuff from the menu, or I can just say, can I have a spicy chicken sandwich with Chick-fil-A sauce, please? So I can just speak what I want on the menu.
Let's customize your spicy chicken sandwich. First, choose your bun.
So I can basically, it'll pop up like all my condiments and stuff like that. Hey, just this Chick-fil-A sauce is fine. I don't need anything else.
Spicy chicken sandwich with Chick-fil-A sauce added to your cart. Anything else?
Hey, that's great. Can I check out? Oh, here. Hey, that's great. Can I check out? Oh, done.
I'll need a few details. Your name, email, and phone number.
Yeah, my name is Ryan. My phone number is 310-592-7418. And my email is ryan@dain.org, DAIN.org. So now I'll just check out. So I'll communicate with the store, get all the details.
Ryan, your order is ready to be placed. The total is $12.18.
So now is the cool part. So like I said before, you can talk back and forth with your voice, right? But you also basically have the ability to make payments, right? What we thought is everybody's always confused. Everyone's like, oh my God, the AI is going to make a payment. I want to make a payment. I want to confirm it. So we made a confirm screen. Yeah, I'm ready to go. So see the payment pops up just like it would like in your crypto wallet. You see the payment ID, which is actually an address that this payment should be sent to, that's created like a payment intent on our chain, and then I just click confirm payment. So I didn't do that with my voice. I'm not allowed to do that with my voice. I want manual user input for that. We might change that in the future, but for now, we're good.
Your order has been successfully placed, Ryan. You can track your order here.
So, yeah, that's that. So the cool part is this will actually come here. We'll have to go find the guy. I have no idea where he's going to come at 77 Amherst. But if you guys want to join me later, we can go look and find him. Hey, can you get the status on that order, please? Yeah, so when the driver comes, it'll get the email. So it's still waiting confirmation from the store. But it'll basically get when the driver's selected, it uses like a bunch of external so like it'll go through something already exists. So the driver will get selected, we'll get the phone number and everything, and you can communicate with the driver and stuff like that. But this is just one example. Remember, we aren't building a food service. We built this to demonstrate the capabilities of the infrastructure that we're making, right? We built this so you could see that you can go from point A to point B with this. So imagine any type of app. Imagine the apps I discussed before, travel, rock finder, whatever you want. You could build into this in 30 minutes and be done. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Oh man, incredible.